right, my friends, how are you today? Aaron here, bringing you some honest astrology for the 11th of August 2022. We've got a full moon in the sign of Aquarius. The sun is in Leo, squaring the nodes. So that means we're in between eclipse season. The nodes are what determine the eclipses. The nodes, the north node over there in the sign of Taurus, the head of the dragon moving toward that of which we value, that of which adds structure and safety and security. The things that we value, the things that allow us to be safe. Safe space. The moon's natural home is in Cancer, but exalted in the sign of Taurus. So we have the North Node in Taurus, we have the Uranus in Taurus, and we have Mars in Taurus. And there was a big conjunction that happened about a week and a half ago. I wanted to talk about it, but I've been pretty slammed doing all kinds of things this Leo season. So we can talk about it a bit today because those energies are still really relevant right now, as you see here, the North Node. And Uranus closely conjunct and Mars not too far ahead of it here. We've got our moon at 19 degrees 21, our sun at 19 degrees 21, our moon at 19 degrees 21. This is happening at 9:36 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So depending where you're at in the world, you'll have to do that math. And you see the nodes here, 1743, 1743. So this is very close. And you see here this square. We have a grand cross in the fixed sign, a fixed cross, a grand cross in the fixed signs of Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Taurus. Now in old religious ideology, this would be a cherubim. You know, it'd be a four-headed winged beast, the head of a man, the head of a lion, the head of a snake, and the head of a bull. Right? This all has to do with astrology. So where are we here? First, let's talk about the nodes. Okay, is this full moon is square the nodes, and what do the nodes mean right now? What does this conjunction mean that we've all been dealing with? All right, the North Node is the head of the dragon, saying we're going in this direction. The South Node is the tail of the dragon, saying we're moving away from this. So what are we moving away from, and what are we moving toward? If we're moving toward structure and safe space, you build a home on solid foundation, right? We can't build it on the side of a mountain, like Capricorn energy. We can't build it under the seas, Capricorn energy. We can't build it on tree branches that aren't strong enough to support the weight. We have to build a home on solid ground, a solid foundation. So we're trying to get a solid foundation within our lives. And that changes what we value is up for a huge amount of change. If we value something because of how it makes us look, how it makes us feel on an emotional level, through a sense of ego, we're squaring to the sun in Leo. Okay, this has to do with our ego, whether that's a healthy ego or an unhealthy, balance of our own egos. So this is like, if we're preferring the flashy car, the flashy glasses, the flashy clothes, it doesn't mean we can't have nice things. This is extremely important. It doesn't mean we can't have nice things, but it's saying, why do we value those nice things? Does it make us feel really good because we have something and we've worked hard for it? Then yes, it makes sense that you deserve something really nice. Okay, so we're not saying that we should, the energy of the planets isn't saying we're not supposed to have nice things, but it's saying, what is it really doing for you? And if it's there to try to impress people who you don't know, who don't really care, then we're going after this for the wrong reasons. If we're putting too much trust, faith, and energy into the guru, the yogi, the spiritual coach, the whatever coach it may be in our lives, that's saying, be like me, breathe like me, sing like me, speak like me, engage your audience this way. This is how you have to post on social media. This is how you have to engage your audience, the way that I do it, because this worked for me. If we're putting value into those individuals more than value into ourselves, this is up for evaluation. Because over there in the sign of Scorpio, the tail of the dragon deals with emotions. Deals with emotions. And this could be a power trip that we want to be able to put our faith and trust into these individuals and do these things because we want the million followers and million views. And that way we can become independent and all this, which sounds nice. But you can do that by being yourself. The sun here in the sign of Leo. Be yourself. Remember that from Aladdin? The little genie as he's a bee. Be yourself, Aladdin. Right? So this is like be yourself energy. And where's the moon over here? In the sign of Aquarius, which deals with the community. So now, in the sense of value and money, and this is the square to the North Node, square to Uranus, square to Mars, there's old world mentality. Old world mentality. I'm an astrologer and you're an astrologer, and that means my competition is the Leo King and whoever else, right? Whatever astrologers, for whatever reason I can't think of at the moment. But it's like no. Just because we do the same thing doesn't mean we're competition. It means we're allies. It means we're working together to raise the vibration or whatever it is. You're a roofer and I'm a roofer. Well, we don't have to see in the world of competition with one another. This is ego. This is an unhealthy balance within our ego. This is, you're not my enemy and because you do the same thing as me. It's like, no, I want to wish you well. We can't fix every roof by ourselves. We can't teach every aspect of astrology by myself. I'm not a financial astrologer, right? I'm not talking about love all the time. This is not my goal to only sit here and do synastry charts or to talk about business, and every millionaires don't need astrologers, but billionaires do, right? Isn't that Warren Buffett? So it's just like there's different aspects to each one. We need commercial roofers, we need home roofers, but either way we can work together and become allies. This is part of this energy that our sun is in Leo, our moon is over there, emotional need to connect with the community, to connect through technology, and so closely conjunct with Saturn, the moon here, only 3 degrees off, conjunct with Saturn, which Saturn is the law. Saturn is saying we have to create a stable energy here in the community. There's an emotional need, right? So Saturn is kind of coming down and putting the ego in check and saying like, look, are you looking at everybody else that does the same job as you, as your competition? You're the only in competition with yourself. And this is your own ego, and this is the shadow side, Scorpio, the shadow side of our egos. The emotional insecurity that deals with Scorpio, the underside. We don't let everybody see that kind of energy. We want everyone to see, this is who we are and this is our thing. And then, then you go home and you cry into your arm or you cry into your blanket because it's been a hard day or something. But then you get up and you show this face to the world. And it's just like, this is only a half truth. So we're allowing ourselves, one, to be vulnerable. We're allowing ourselves to be human. We're allowing ourselves to be human within the community, which is extremely important, right? We all have ups and downs and bumps in the roads. We all have emotions that we deal with, deep-rooted emotions. We all deal with anger or sadness or insecurities, vulnerabilities, a worry of not knowing. We have overconfidence, underconfidence. We have all the arrays of emotions, and no one is exempt from feeling those emotions. And the more that we have to feel that we have to hide those things from our peers or hide those things from the community, whoever we're leading, teaching, communicating with, then we have this idea of not being human. Okay, and this is the same goes with like social media. If we're only putting out on social media through technology, right? This is the moon conjunct Saturn in technology, Aquarius. And this square, the moon and Saturn square here to Uranus, shaking things up in very stable Taurus. So this is like when we're only posting this one half of ourselves, only posting this one positive side of things, we're really denying ourselves of truly connecting, engaging with an audience, engaging with our friends, engaging with our peers, at the realness of what it means to be a human being. We just want everybody to see this one idea, this one image of ourselves. And Saturn is here to put all of that into check. Now, further, we have Venus just moved out of Cancer, thankfully. This particular summer, this year has been very, very interesting. The top of the year, we had Jupiter in the sign of Pisces. Then it finally moved out to the sign of Aries, and now it's retrograde right now, but it's going to stay in Aries through its retrograde cycle, I do believe. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it stays in there, or even if so, it just dips back into Pisces. Either way, it was a heavy beginning of the year. There was a lot of like gung-ho, let's forward momentum energy, like mentally, like we thought it was going to be, but then it was just like a bullet hitting water. The trajectory just kind of came to a halt. And then we've had Cancer season. The sun moves through Cancer season, and it's like Cancer goes into hiding. And then the sun finally moved out into Leo, where we're like, yes, the heat of the summer, depending where you're at in the world, the heat of the summer here for the people north of the equator, for those north of the equator. But then Venus was back in the sign of Cancer. Mars moving through Taurus, which is, it's not its favorite place to be. It's in detriment. Uranus is in detriment. It's not their favorite place to be through this slow, trudgy earth sign that's like it doesn't want to move. Mars is opposite side from its home in Scorpio, where it has passion and wants to move freely and desires. And here it's just like going through the jungle, going through this tall grass. It's not sure how to navigate. And then it's bumping up with Uranus, and it's saying, we need to find a different way. We need to find a different way, that of which we value. We need to find a different way to make money. Making money right now is a lot different than how it was a couple years ago. Uranus moved into Taurus in 2018. It's just a year and change later when we have this pandemic with COVID-19. And now we're having more people working from home, which did never exist prior to that. Is our bosses are like, if you give them an inch, you're going to, give them a mile, and people want to take advantage of that system. So there's a whole new way of making money. There's a whole new way of connecting with people through technology right now that's different than what it used to be. And it's uncomfortable, but we have to find a new comfort in that uncomfortability. And all of these planets, so Uranus, Mars moving through Taurus, we had Venus moving through Cancer, again, that water sign that's tucked back and wants to hide. It's like, I want to hide my emotions. I want to hide my insecurities. I want to hide my love. It's like you can't love through a closed fist, right? The only way to love is through open hands, open palms, and open arms, and hopefully a smile on your face. This is how we love. And there has been a lot of tucked back energy and insecure energy, but it's that when we go out, we don't want to show that energy. And this transits, this full moon that's happening right now, it's like, it's okay to be human. It's okay to show your insecurities in front of people. It's okay to cry in front of people. It's okay to express in front of other people, where we might feel that we had to hide it before. So now Venus has moved into the sign of Leo as well, not quite conjunct the sun here. But the sense is that we're moving forward, that we're allowing ourselves to express ourselves a little bit more freely right now. I don't know why this is expressed like, this is the actor taking stage. That's the sign of Leo. That's what Leo is. It's the star of the show. It's the rock star. It's the actor. It's you, your sun shining bright. It's that part of you that's the passionate, excited part of you that wants to be excited about life, that wants to be romantic, that wants to be playful, that wants to make everything about self. And then over there, the emotional moon in the community sign of Aquarius is like, yeah, every actor needs its director. Every baseball star needs its coach. Every rock band needs its audience. Otherwise, they're playing in their garage, So it's just like this beautiful balance between us bringing our skills, our passions, what we desire in life, bringing it forward. And it's like those beautiful musicians or those actors who can really tap into all the sides of emotions are amazing. The musicians that can get up on stage and invoke a powerful movement that's like true authenticity. An actor that can evoke those emotions of true authenticity. This is really powerful. This is certainly part of where we're at in this energy. And with it being square to the nodes, this is very, very powerful because we're in between eclipses and we're saying, okay, for me to be myself, amongst the group, for me to be myself within the community, do I have to hide part of myself to be that realness? Do I have to hide part of myself to be authentic? Will I come across as unstable? Square to stable Taurus. Will I come across as too emotional, too needy, too whatever these things are? And so this is up for evaluation. There's not a right or wrong answer here, but it's up for reevaluation. And especially because Saturn is also retrograde right now, reevaluating the laws of how we are governing ourselves within the community, how we're governing ourselves amongst our peers. And this Uranus North Node Mars conjunction saying that we need to move forward to create a stable foundation, meaning we have to clear out and let go of whatever we're holding on to that's not allowing us to have that stable foundation emotionally. If we're holding on to our past, if we're holding on to emotions from our ex, if we're holding on to emotions of anger from a boss, anger from this, and we, this is why I'm in a bad mood, and this bad mood becomes a habit, and this habit becomes a disposition, this disposition becomes a personality trait. And why are you so angry? It's because this thing that happened to me X amount of years ago. And this is why I'm depressed. And this is because of this thing that happened X amount of years ago. It's just like, well, this energy is saying that's not who you are. This thing that happened to you several years ago is not who you are. That's just a moment in time. And it's the same thing as saying, well, something really positive happened to you throughout the history of your life, and you're not holding on to that and waving that flag high and saying, the reason I'm so happy and joyful every day is because this one thing happened to me in my life, and it's changed my life forever. Now, hopefully you are. If somebody has that sense of imagination and allowing themselves to because they're tapped into that, that's really incredible. But that's generally not the human experience. We seem to be slightly more negative than positive for whatever reason that may be. We tend to hold on to, I had a great day until that jerk cut me off in traffic, and then it put me in a sour mood. And the sour mood is now, it's manifesting and snowballing through the rest of our day. So it's this opportunity here with the moon, full moon square to the south node, saying, well, let's release this. What kind of grudge are we wearing? What kind of emotional grudge are we wearing that's putting separation between us and the solid foundation that we're trying to create for our future? We want a stable foundation for ourselves, and we have to shake things up. And it might be uncomfortable to shake those things up, but it's absolutely necessary to shake those things up, because we are passionate human beings, and us passionate human beings need to connect with community. This is an emotional need to connect with community. This is not all of this energy is saying you are a beautiful person. You are an exciting, passionate human being. And when you, passionate, exciting human being, allow yourself to connect with other people who share the same passions, when you get out of your own head, of your own insecurities, of your own depression or thinking you need to be alone, it takes a community. It takes a village to raise a child. We rely on our community all the time. When we go to the grocery store, we didn't grow all that food ourselves. We didn't create every piece of clothing that we wear. We didn't create the camera, the smartphone in your pocket. We didn't create the computer. We need other people. And then we have this, I don't need anybody kind of attitude. It's like, yeah, you do. You need everybody. And this is this beautiful time to get out of that we don't need everybody, we don't need anybody attitude, and recognize we need everybody. And that we have a story, we have a song to sing, and that when we are passionate and excited about who we are, passionate and excited about the things that allow us to be excited in life, and we connect with those other people who are also excited about these same things in life, emotional security, emotional stability. And that's what this energy of this full moon is all about. And I want to share with you a personal thing that happened to me a couple weeks ago that I witnessed and experienced, and I find it very fascinating and very fitting to the energy of this North Node energy, North Node Uranus Mars energy. But as well, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about here is this moon trine to Chiron, and Jupiter and Chiron in the sign of Aries. This is saying about loving yourself, expressing yourself, being yourself, allowing yourself to be who you are. Going toward the light that feels good, going away from what doesn't feel good in its simplest forms. Now, the story has to do with that, has to deal with that. I was recently on, most of you know who have followed this channel before, that I'm a filmmaker is my normal job. I'm an audio engineer in the film industry. And I got called to do this TED Talk, to like be the audio recorder. It wasn't TED, but it was something along these lines, kind of a TED Talk thing, where these 13 people are going to get up on stage and they're going to be talking about whatever it is that they're passionate about. So I was like, awesome. This sounds right up my alley. I can't wait to learn about what these 13 passionate people have to say. And I get to record. I'm just the audio guy. I get to record what's going on. So then I get there and I'm hooking stuff up to the cameras and doing all this. And then I find out all of the people in the audience are paid background extras. They're actors that are paid to be there. And I was like, wait, what's going on? And then somebody finally broke it down to me and they said, oh, no, this isn't actually, they're not actually giving a performance. What they're doing is all these 13 people here are trying to be speakers. You know, I do keynote speeches, whether it's motivation for something or whether it's just informative. They're trying to give speeches on stage and get paid for that or whatever it may be, okay? And our job, where the film crew is to film this acting of giving a speech in front of a staged audience of not real audience members who are paid to clap when they're supposed to clap. And we're filming this for them so they have for like a demo reel, okay? And if you're being a speaker, there's a point to this, trust me. If you're going to be a speaker saying something on stage, you go out there and you say what you say, and it's just like a band with a performance. You don't stop the song and say, oh, we hit a wrong note. Let me start that song again. Let's go back to one, boys. You know, count us in, Danny. You know, that's not how it goes. You go out there, and if you flub it up or you say something or whatever, you just roll with it. You go with it. Now, these individuals, they have a coach, and their coach here is guiding them on how to say it, and we're guiding them on how to engage in their audience and eye contact and what we're supposed to be doing. And then in this point, we're going to raise our voices, and on this point, we're going to get real quiet, and we're going to try to get your attention. Okay, because this is what worked for me as an acting coach, or for me as a public speaker, and I'm going to teach my method to you. And that way you will understand this method, and you will be able to engage an audience and have this beautiful standing ovations and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so these individuals now might be passionate about what they were talking about, but they're so wrapped up with, are they doing it right? Am I doing it according to how this? So they'd get all flustered, and they'd come out. And it's funny for me as I'm the audio guy, and they'd come out and they'd say, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I'm Aaron Eschenburg, and I'm going to be talking to you about astrology. And then I'd be going on my little spiel here about astrology. And then I'd be like, oh, sorry, I messed up. And then their voice would raise 10 decibels in volume because they'd get very real. You know, they'd get real with themselves and real with the crowd. They say, oh, I messed up. I'm gonna walk off and come back and do it again. So that way we filmed the right thing. Okay, so the reason I'm sharing with this with you is a prime example. Do you know who Eckhart Tolle is? Okay, Eckhart Tolle is a brilliant mind, brilliant human being, and a brilliant speaker, but he speaks in the most monotone voice I may have ever heard in my life. But he sells out his crowds. He sells out an audience because what he has to say is so valuable. People want to listen to him. And he wasn't going to acting coaches and public speaking coaches to learn how to do it their way. Okay, so the point of me stating all of this with the moon here or the sun here in the sign of Leo, the moon over here in the sign of Aquarius, how we're engaging and connecting with the outside, how we're engaging and connecting ourselves, our passions, the things that light us up, the things that get us excited about life, and how we're connecting with the community. Furthermore, the sun creating this trine over to Chiron in the sign of Aries, it's about valuing oneself. And value, remember we're talking about value here. What do we value? Valuing this body, valuing this mind, this voice. Yeah, it's so frustrating for me when I hear people say, oh, I hate my own voice. So it's like, oh, you want me to listen to your voice, but you hate it? Start to value yourself. Value who you are. Value the flubs that we make when we're talking or whatever it may be. We don't need the now I'm not saying we don't need education on a subject. That doesn't mean the actor doesn't need an acting coach or the vocalist doesn't need a vocal coach. We need practice of anything that we're doing. But what this means is we don't have to be like somebody else. Okay? The apple tree doesn't want to be the banana tree. The banana tree doesn't want to be the apple tree, and it doesn't want to be a carrot, and the carrot doesn't want to be a beet, and you shouldn't want to be like anybody else. And that's the beauty of what this astrology is teaching us. And how much are we trying to monkey see, monkey do? How much are we trying to fit ourselves into, well, this is what worked on social media for this person. This is what worked for this person to be successful. Well, that might not work for you because you're not them. It might work for them because that's who they are and that's what they did. And there might be this like cookie cutter little concept or box that some individuals are creating that say follow this and it's going to work, and it might work for some, but we all know that it's a pyramid scheme, that it's fugazi, and that what people really want in this age of Aquarius is authenticity. They want you to be yourself. And when you are speaking from your heart, when you are speaking from your passions, you are naturally going to connect, find the audience, whatever it is, the friends, the community that also connect with you and get excited about your passions and excited about this life that we are so unbelievably blessed to have. To breathe this air, to touch, to taste, to smell things. I had a friend recently tell me in her experience with the spirit world how lucky the spirit world was like, we wish we could be you. You don't know how lucky you are to have a body, to be alive, physical, in this third dimension, in this world. And we do. We are. We should be. We should be excited about ourselves. We should be excited about the sound of our own voice. We should be excited at how far our reach can grasp, at how far open our arms can be to hug, at how wide we can smile, enjoy when we share and connect not only with ourselves, but with other people. And that's what this moon is all about, is connecting with other people. It's us allowing us to be ourselves. Us feeling happy to be ourselves is trying over here to Chiron and Aries. We don't want to be like anybody else. I don't want you to be like anybody else. I just want you to be you. And I love you. And I wish you enough on this beautiful, happy full mooning, my friends. All right. I love you. And we'll see you next time.